Hey everyone, my name is Ishan and in today's video we're going to be talking about languages. This includes modern foreign languages like French, German, Italian, Spanish, and how to sort of revise for them from GCSEs to A-levels. So if you're a GCSE student, this is going to be helpful, and if you're an A-level student, this also might be helpful for you. A quick background: I am a A-level student. I study French, Latin and English. I did French GCSE and I received a 9. So I'm here to basically just give you my tips and how I sort of got that 9 and how I achieved 100% in my GCSE French exam. Donc, je vais vous donner tous mes conseils. I'm going to give you all of my advice for languages, and because it is MFL, they can be interlinked with all of the languages that you're studying, whether it's Spanish, German, French, and so on. So let's start. The first piece of advice is about the vocab. There is no set vocab list, so you won't have like a list of vocab that you'll have to learn. This is like something that Latin gives you in GCSE, but in French, Spanish, German, Italian, you will not get a set vocab list, meaning that any word, whether it's like a fire engine or whether it's a textbook, could come up in your GCSE French exam. Same with A-level. You're like expected to basically know as much stuff as you can. That's reasonable, but obviously you're not gonna like need to know what some random verb is that's not relevant to a topic. So just learn as much vocab as you can, and to learn this, obviously just read as much as you can. Read texts, read newspapers, or any articles that can give you this vocab knowledge. The second piece of advice I'd give is about past papers. Now, in my previous videos, I've told you that past papers are amazing. They're necessary to success, but this is not the case for modern foreign languages. There is no point doing past papers throughout the year to revise modern foreign languages, because there are limited past papers that you can do, so save them to the end first of all. But what you should do is read as much as you can, listen to as much as you can, watch French films, read the French news or read French articles, because that's the best practice you can do to sort of learn French, Spanish, German, Italian. So like, don't just do past papers, actually read and go out of your way to read different texts or read a French book, because that's what's going to help you. It's not going to be the past papers for French. Yes, at the end they're good for like key skills, picking out key vocab, things like that, but they aren't going to save you in languages. The next tip I want to give is about films and series. So if you have Netflix, I'm assuming most of you watching this have Netflix, turn your language into French. So you can still watch all of your English movies or series. I'm currently watching Fate the Winx Saga, I think. Turn the audio into French with English subtitles, or vice versa, because that way you can actually sort of plunge yourself into real French. You're not going to learn what a fairy is in French, are you? So maybe throw this vocabulary into your writing, but trust me, watching videos or watching Netflix in French is so helpful. Watch Harry Potter in French. The next tip is to make mind maps. So with Spanish, French, German, you're gonna have themes. So maybe themes like family, or la musique, politics, or maybe even technology, la cybersociété, cyber society. So for this, what you want to do is make mind maps of key phrases that you need to learn. So by phrases, I don't just mean like little vocab bits, I mean phrases that you can deploy into your writing piece. So especially for GCSE, you're gonna need to like write an essay on like what you do in your free time or your family. So with the free time topic, maybe write a couple of model paragraphs that you can sort of reshuffle and just use in your writing in the exam, and it just helps you memorize these key phrases. Like I think in my French exam GCSE, I wrote that like it was about a holiday, and I wrote that I got lost at the airport and I lost my mum and I had goosebumps. What other person in the exam room will know what goosebumps in French is, or Spanish or Italian? Probably only you. So make sure you're learning these like idioms, these small catchy phrases that will impress the examiner, because impressing the examiner goes a long way. The next thing is probably the hardest thing that I sort of had to get my head around, and it was speaking the language. Parce que je parle un petit peu français, c'est une langue très difficile, and it's basically a very difficult language, and pronunciation is not my forte. To work on your speaking, you have to know what the teacher's going to ask you. So I think last year, it depends like what exam would you do. You're like given a set of like questions that the teacher could ask, and prior to that you can prepare. So what you want to do is learn the answers to these questions, learn them off by heart, but, now this is the big but, do not sound like a robot. You do not want to go into your French exam and when your teacher asks, can you describe your family? You do not want to pretend, like you don't want to act as if you're like just reading from a script. Dans ma famille, il y a ma mère, mon père et ma sœur. Add some intonation to it. Dans ma famille, il y a beaucoup de personnes, and sort of like go with the flow. You also want to use fillers or depending on what they are in Spanish or Italian, don't just be make it sound French, if that helps. The next part is about the listening exam. The listening is definitely at GCSE the hardest exam you will ever take. Well, it was so hard for me, it was horrific, because it's like you're listening to a person speaking French, Spanish or Italian a million miles per hour, and it just takes so long. So what I want you to do is start watching Peppa Pig in French, or start watching baby cartoons in French, so you sort of get used to the speed at which they talk, and also the very common vocab that you probably wouldn't have learned in school. So watch cartoons in French, at least one a day. That will help you so much, because it will get you used to the speed. And also listen to French music, listen to French covers of English songs like Ed Sheeran in French or Olivia Rodrigo in French, because you're gonna know the lyrics in English, and then you're gonna hear the French, and you'll subconsciously sort of know what it means. So honestly, it's a shout, listening to English music in French. The final tip I wanted to give you was flashcards for vocab. Flashcards for vocab are so important, especially if you're using flashcards like Quizlet. Quizlet, it's paid now, so I would either switch to Anki or Sable. Sable, it's like a sort of emerging flashcards app. But make sure you're making a note of all of the vocab that you don't know, because you do not want to go into that exam not knowing the word. And so what you need to make sure you do is learn that vocab, learn the sort of irregular verbs by putting them into a flashcard. I would always recommend digital flashcards, and learn it every day. Make sure you do not forget it, so you're ready for that exam. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This was a short video, but hopefully it did help you with languages. If you do need any help, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will try to reply as soon as possible. But if you have any more questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. But other than that, have a great day, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.